Hello everyone. So tonight I thought you guys can just hang out with me. I'm folding towels right now. Um, but I wanted to like tell you a little bit more about my mental health um, stories, my inpatient treatment stories, because I have kind of delved into it a little bit, but I have never really told you guys the trauma that I endured in these places. So Um, I'm going to start with the first place that I was ever in, which was, um, I guess the first place they ever sent me after juvenile detention because I got locked up and got put on probation and subsequently ankle monitor, and then I cut that off, and then they locked me back up, and then I ran away from there. I escaped juvenile detention. Um, and then they caught me a little bit later, maybe like a month later, maybe shorter because memory is foggy. But after that, they sent me to the Psychiatric Institute in Anchorage, Alaska. I was there for about a month. Um, the summer I, the summer after I turned 14, and uh, then from there, my probation officer sent me to a group home in Sitka, Alaska. Um, I went to the one that I stayed there for a while, and then they sent me back to the juvenile detention, and then from there I stayed there for a few months, and then from there they sent me to Utah, um, West Jordan, Utah. I was in a place called Copper Hills Youth Center, and the way this place was set up, imagine a big octagon shaped building in the middle of nowhere, literally nowhere. There was nothing around us. Like maybe 2 miles west, there was a high school, and then after, past the high school, there was the town of West Jordan. But we were right beneath the mountains where the Kennecott copper mine was. They were right behind us. It's actually a little tiny neighborhood or community called Copperton is like the neighborhood we were closest to. But anyway, uh, so there was 5 sides of the building, right? And then in the center was a courtyard that connected each side of the building. One side was a dining hall. One side, there was one side for girls, one side for boys, but there was 2 sides each for each side, for each boys and girls. So there was a girls track A and a girls track B, and then a boys track A and boys track B. So girls track A was like people who were like me. I have full cognitive ability. Like I understand, like I can take care of myself. I can, do all that stuff. Girls track B was for more people with like severe forms of mental handicap or disabilities on top of having mental health issues. So they weren't able to fully take care of themselves and all that. But yeah, in there, let's see, I encountered a therapist who tried to convert me to Mormonism. Um, I went through a lot of different behavioral therapies, group therapies, and all that kind of stuff. And I was in there for a year and 5 months. So I got there 7/27/04 or around there. It was like seven. Yeah, it was 7/27 because it was the day. That's the day I left Alaska, and then I was there until like 3 weeks before my 18th birthday. And see, since I was on probation this whole time, and my probation officer was my guardian, and she didn't like me at all. But she knew also that my home life and the home situation was less than desirable. Um, And so she kind of kept me in these places. Like I had to, it felt like I was always trying to meet up to this standard that kept getting moved. Like you work up to this goal and then you get to that goal and then the goals moved up. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was never going to get free from this woman. And I was forced to take medications. I was forced to do things that I didn't want to do. Like literally you had to even ask to use the bathroom, and if you used the bathroom that in a time you were not supposed to, you were like forced to write like what was called sentences, where you had to like say write like 100 times, I will go use the bathroom only at designated times for the bathroom. And that was your punishment. They had a level system where you constantly had to get up, you had to do these different things to, and have like a whole group of people, the whole group of girls, there's like 35 girls in there, and they stick us all in the day room that's not that big. We're all in there together. We all have mental health issues. Oh my God, you guys. I remember one time this riot ensued. Like these girls, there was a lot of different people in there from a lot of different places. Like I met girls from California, Wyoming, South Dakota, Utah, obviously. There was a lot of girls in there from Alaska. And so it was just like all different walks of people, like a vast array of different types of people, different backgrounds, different living situations, and which caused, and we were all teenage girls. So like there was clique behavior. It was terrible. I hated that place, like hated it with a fiery burning passion. But there was this riot that went on one night, and these girls started to fight in the day room. And of course, there's like a few staff that are running our side of the building that are responsible for us. And, the other staff from other sides of the building can't just run over and leave all of their patients. So these people were kind of like on their own. There was like 5 or 6 people to like 35 girls, and we all started to just fight each other. Like all this tension had been building for like months and months and months. And finally we all just started kicking each other's asses, man. It was intense. It was crazy. I met a lot of cool people in there. People I'm actually still friends with. Well, we still talk on Facebook and stuff like that. And that was fucking like, what, 20 something years, almost like, it was like 20 years ago. Almost. Like 17 years ago, 16 years ago. A long time ago. But yeah, after that, the weirdest place that I went in was the last one they put me in, which was called Copper Hill, what was it? Cottonwood Youth Academy is what it was called. Cottonwood Youth Academy in South Salt Lake City, Utah. Now in there, I was going in as an 18-year-old, or I was just about to turn 18, like literally in like a couple weeks. And so I was more in the adult section. The building was split into an adolescent side and the adult side. And on our side, it was just 4 of us, like 4 girls. There was a girl named Elle, black girl from Washington, D.C., and then there was 2 other girls both from the same towns in South Dakota, Yankton, South Dakota. There was Carissa and there was Brittany. And then there was me. We all shared a room. We did everything together. We went outside together. And actually in there, the woman who was like in charge of us, she was only a few years older than us. She was like 24. Her and the black woman from DCL were having sex. They were sleeping together. And so subsequently we were allowed to do whatever we wanted, like within reason, it was just crazy. It was a trip. And then knowing like in the place prior to that, some girls were hooking up with staff members. It was just all around creepy, gross, pedophile vibes. Like, and then, but in that last treatment center, they did the weirdest fucking treatments on me. Now, I want to know if anyone else has ever experienced these treatments, because I haven't talked to anybody in my personal life that's ever even heard of treatments like this. So they started to put like electrodes, like these wires onto certain parts of my head, and I would sit there in front of this computer screen, and they would tell me to uh, get into a meditative headspace, and the more relaxed I got, this image would come up on this computer screen of a plane, like a float, like a flat little mini plane or something. And the more you relaxed and didn't think about the plane, it would start to fly. But as soon as you started to think about it, it would like stop. So it was like this exercise they were trying to make me do to make me relax or something. But another one that they did, they had this huge chair that was kind of on this swivel mechanism. And it was almost like a huge hospital chair that was like bent. You were like kind of sitting up a little, but your feet were also raised a little bit, or your knees were raised. It was like this, and then this, and then, you know what I'm talking about. You were kind of like in a V shape, a relaxed V. And she would sit me in this little cubicle. We were in her office, but there was like a cubicle. She had like set up a cubicle and put this chair in there. And she would have me pick out some kind of music that I liked. And then she would put me in this chair with these glasses on that had lights on the inside of them that she would turn on, and they would flash red into different patterns. And of course my eyes would be closed, but you could still see the patterns of red light. And that I remember it would send me into flashbacks of when I was molested, by my brother when I was a little kid. And so I immediately did not like that. And then there was another one where she would sit me at a desk, put music, like she would let me pick out my own music. And at the time I listened to a lot of heavy rock music and stuff like that. But she would put the glasses back on me with the lights on them. But this time they would be like yellow, red, and green. And they would like sync with the music. But I don't remember her ever explaining to me what the purpose of these treatments were. And I never knew. And I never got to get my records from them because like the next year after I left, which I got released in January 6th, 2006, was when I got out of treatment and off probation and out of state custody, and I was an adult and I got to go back home. I was there for like 6 or 7 months at the end of 2005 to the beginning of 2006, or the middle of 2005 to the beginning of 2006. And the next year, 2007, they actually closed. They were shut down because of negligent behavior. And I heard that one of the staff members had gotten in trouble for like having a relationship with one of the patients, which, I watched that go on. She would let us do whatever we wanted if we didn't tell. She would give us cigarettes and shit. Like, it was cool at the time, but like looking back, like in that situation, like that shouldn't be a thing. Those types of people who are so willing to manipulate the situation because they're in power, they shouldn't be in positions of power over people like that who are so delicate with mental health issues like that. It's just awful. It's gross. It's gross. And that's the biggest reason why I have issues now with therapy and taking medications and all that. I've just done so much research and I've had so much bad experiences with it. I mean, it has helped, but it hasn't, It's helped, but then it's also left like new scars, new traumas in place of the old ones, which I'm still trying to work out and get over. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that I did get records from all of my records except for that last place I was in, which really sucks because I could have then figured out what those treatments were for. But if any of you guys have ever experienced any of those types of treatments, let me know, because I literally can't. I can Google stuff like that and it doesn't come up with anything. It's just like, I don't know, strange. But I love you guys and I hope you're all having a great time, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.